Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our journey through the Bible. Today, we're diving into a couple of chapters that are packed with action, drama, and some powerful lessons about respect, pride, and God's sovereignty. We're looking at 1 Chronicles, chapters 19 and 20. So let's set the scene. In chapter 19, David, the king of Israel, wants to show kindness to Hanun, the new king of the Ammonites. Why? Because Hanun's father had been kind to David. It's a simple gesture of goodwill, a diplomatic mission to offer condolences and build a bridge. David sends a delegation of his officials to Hanun. You'd think this would be a straightforward, positive interaction, right? Well, things take a wild turn. Hanun's advisors are suspicious. They convince him that David's men aren't there to offer comfort, but to spy on the city and plan an attack. Instead of receiving them with honor, Hanun decides to humiliate them. He shaves off half of each man's beard and cuts their garments in the middle, right at their hips, and sends them away. Now, in that culture, this was a massive insult. A man's beard was a symbol of his dignity and honor. To shave it off was a deep public shaming. And cutting their clothes like that? It was utterly degrading. When David hears what happened, he's furious, but he's also compassionate toward his men. He tells them to stay in Jericho until their beards have grown back before returning to Jerusalem. This act of disrespect by Hanun doesn't just end with hurt feelings. It ignites a full-blown war. The Ammonites realize they've made a huge enemy of David, so they hire thousands of mercenaries from surrounding regions to fight for them. They're preparing for a massive conflict. David doesn't back down. He sends his top general Joab and the entire army to face them. Joab finds himself in a tricky situation, surrounded with enemies in front and behind him, but he's a brilliant strategist. He divides his forces, giving one part to his brother Abishai. He tells him, "If the Arameans are too strong for me, you come help me. If the Ammonites are too strong for you, I'll come help you." And then he says something amazing. "Be strong, and let us fight bravely for our people and the cities of our God. The Lord will do what is good in His sight." They go into battle with courage and trust in God, and they win a decisive victory. The enemy forces flee. This battle shows us the consequences of pride and suspicion. Hanun's choice to listen to bad advice and act out of disrespect led to a devastating war that his people had to pay for. It's a powerful reminder to always choose kindness and give others the benefit of the doubt. Now let's move into chapter 20. The story continues. The next spring, the time when kings go off to war, Joab leads the army back to finish the job. They besiege the Ammonite capital, Rabbah. Interestingly, the text mentions that David remained in Jerusalem. While his army is fighting, David is back home. This little detail might seem minor, but if you cross-reference this with the story in 2 Samuel, you'll know this is when David's infamous sin with Bathsheba takes place. The chronicler, however, focuses on the military victory. Joab and the army conquer Rabbah, and they capture a massive amount of plunder, including the king's crown, which was incredibly heavy and valuable. It's a total victory for Israel, but the chapter isn't over yet. It then shifts to describe a series of battles against some remaining Philistine giants. These aren't just any opponents. They are literal giants, descendants of the giant Goliath that David famously defeated as a young man. One giant has 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot. Another is a brother of Goliath. In each of these encounters, it's not David who fights them, but his mighty men. One by one, David's brave warriors step up and defeat these intimidating foes. This highlights the strength and courage of the men around David. It shows that David had cultivated a team of heroes who were just as faithful and brave as he was. These victories secured the land and brought an end to the threat of the Philistine giants. So what can we take away from these 2 chapters? Chapter 19 is a stark warning about the destructive power of disrespect and pride. A simple act of kindness was met with suspicion and insult, leading to a terrible war. It teaches us the importance of treating others with honor. Chapter 20, on the other hand, shows us the results of courage and faithfulness. It celebrates the mighty warriors who stood with David and reminds us that even the most intimidating giants in our lives can be overcome when we stand strong in faith. It's a powerful narrative about leadership, loyalty, and the consequences of our choices. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope this gives you some food for thought. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. See you next time.